Welcome back to AM Northwest. Today, our nation is celebrating the work of the great Martin Luther King Jr. And here to share the valuable life lessons we can all learn from Dr. King, we welcome success coach Kemy Joseph. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let me ask you personally, how were you inspired by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.?
I was growing up and learning about him and learning about what he did to motivate people and encourage people to, more importantly, be nonviolent in times of such disparity, times of segregation, times of injustice, and how that helped to shift the way that I'm able to live and think about, in a lot of ways, how I'm one of the dreams of his coming true, of being able to even be here with you right now.
Right.
And just seeing that all that hard work went into giving me the possibility to study like he did, to work like he did, to speak like he did, and be a young black man in this world.
He had some tips, or you bring up some tips here. One of the things he talked about was live for something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, you can see that just from how he was as a young man and going after his studies rigorously, being a man of faith and being able to walk in that even in the segregation. And then even before he became the leader of the civil rights movement, studying as a PhD. You know, PhDs are hard by themselves, right. And then doing that in a segregated time. And seeing him then step into that role of saying, I'm going to be a target, I'm going to be an inspiration, I'm going to be something bigger than myself, and that's that soul power that he talks about that allowed him to make such momentous change.
You know, over the years, you'd think that what he has said over time would diminish, but it's more important, more than ever before, right?
Absolutely. I mean, he talks about in his speech how that was 100, or in I Have a Dream speech, how that was 100 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, and 60 years later, we're still fighting similar struggles.
Right.
And how we as a country need to continue to heed those words and move forward.
He also said change is always possible.
Yeah, I love that part. You know, the change in individuals, knowing that even the most ignorant or bigot person can change and they can soften their hearts, they can learn to love other people, and that our systems, the ones that we feel so oppressed by, can also change. It's like, it gives me a lot of hope, and I hope that that also gives people hope that we can make a change right now in our current climate.
Okay, and then when faced with difficulties, turn fear and pain into power.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ones that I resonate a lot with, of just seeing, again, the attacks that he had personally, arrested over 20 times,
right.
You know, having bombings of his house, being physically brutalized along with other marchers and so on, and that every time he didn't turn to violence. He turned that into more reason for people to be nonviolent. The letter from Birmingham is a perfect example of how he, even while he was in prison, he used that as something to turn the tides in his favor and turn that pain, that suffering, into power to motivate people and to keep inspiring them forward.
Do you ever feel frustrated that enough is not being done to follow his word?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think it's especially in my generation and younger, we kind of think the civil rights movement was just so long ago,
right.
Where there's people who are still alive who had gone through those same marches, who had suffered that. And again, as I said in the beginning of this, it gave me the honor to be who I am right now. And so think about how I need to do more, and we all need to do more in order to keep the movement moving forward and to make the changes that are necessary.
Be creatively persistent. Tell me what that means.
That goes right along with what I'm saying, that the idea of being persistent is one thing, right? I can keep nagging you and nagging you. That's just going to make you irritated. But to be creative and to look at how I can get your attention, how I can get this person's attention, how I can bring different people to the table is a whole different conversation than just being bold and persistent. We have to know that it's about the minds and hearts of people, that it's not just about getting their attention, it's how we do it makes just as much of an impact as to what we're actually trying to do.
Communication is key to understanding and uniting people.
Absolutely, that piece.
I mean, he was such a great communicator.
I think that's what made a huge difference, right? I imagine there's a lot of people saying similar things to what he was saying, but as you listen to the metaphor he uses and the way that he draws people in, and the communication of also seeking to understand other people, that's a huge piece to make sure that I know what you want out of this and how we can work together. And that's that piece of unification that we kind of lose as we look at Twitter and some of the stuff you were just talking about, how communication can get lost in all this garble. But we have to learn how to be able to look each other in the eye and find an understanding that is going to bring people together.
How do you encourage people, and I'll talk about our viewers, how would you encourage our viewers to celebrate this day?
take action. You know, this is one of the few national holidays that is a day of service. So do something that is of service. Even if you're going to sit at home, learn some more about Dr. King and all the other people who were part of the movement. And that, I think, those things, it helps people to be educated enough to know that the work is still needs to be done. If we sit complacent, then we just disgrace all the work that already has been done. So we just need to take action and peaceful action, right? I want to very much clarify that. Right, we're in a time where a lot of fear and unrest is happening, and we look at how, like, the marches that are going to happen on the 20th, looking at how people can step up and take peaceful action in his memory.
And do you think peaceful marches, they can make a difference?
I think they're a catalyst for some things. Other things are people continuing to be a part of committees that help to change policy, help to educate people. So I think that there's a need to get the direct action out of there, and then also the need to sustain it. We can't just think that one day is going to make a difference. We need to also continue taking action on a daily basis.
Kemy, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.